than when you're just, hustling, struggling, trying to make ends meet, trying to push yourself so hard. That way you can easily break. There's always a breaking point for someone who is not improved. Someone who doesn't know. You don't have to know everything, but someone who has a knowledge gap. There's always a place where you fringe, where you there's a breaking point. So it's so crucial for me to raise people alongside myself who are more interested in knowledge acquisition, knowledge implementation, execution, and all of those things, than people who are just looking to get money by all means, any means possible. So that's why, like, I'm here. So we have 1 minute until we like officially start. So today, like I said, it's going to be very short. What I'm going to be doing is just something to propel you to want to start to put yourself out there, to prioritize, being bold enough to say, I've got a lot that the world needs. I may not be, very refined, but I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to contribute to the growth of, not just Nigeria, but I'm going to contribute something to the world that the world cannot see unless I put myself out there. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is John Otache Emmanuel. If you are joining this for the first time, and this mentorship is aimed at helping people like you and me become more hungry. I am so tired of people who are very complacent. People who don't want more. That's not what I want. The people who believe that there's more to life, who want to become better versions of themselves, who want to make money, who want to enjoy life, and who want to be high performers. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So on tired days, on days when I feel like I have a lot of energy, I still want to do this because, I get a lot of fulfillment when I see folks around me really growing. So I'm going to be tackling some, first I'm going to start from the aspect that I think that there are lots of things that culture and for most people, religion has not Christianity or Islam in this moment. I'm talking about religion at this moment where humans have made their own rules out of, the core religious concept. They've all now fabricated theirs because of their cultures and experience. And now they now expect people to live by those rules. And those rules are more subjugative rules rather than rules to help them become better versions of themselves. So if you truly, religion should be engaged, whether Islam, Christianity, or whatever you do, religion should be engaged from a standpoint of understanding. I mean, you might not understand the entire concept, but it is important that your beliefs are concretized on your choices. So this is exactly what I mean. If you're a Christian or you're a Muslim or whatever religion or whatever thing you practice, it should come from a place where you say first, I have looked into this and I am choosing this path. That way, you can help to differentiate when somebody or a group of people who claim to be part of your religion are trying to put clocks on you and trying to put subjugative rules that are not helping you to become like better or grow. I was talking to a friend today and I told him that for most people who are, where they are, they can justify that by some religious principles that are not necessarily anchored on growth. So, I mean, those really, they're not a lie, but they are not the truth. It's just true, but probably on a broader scale, they are not the truth. And something can be true but it's not the truth, and there's a difference between the truth and something that is true. It is true that someone can have a biological, emotional connection to, a man having a biological connections to a man, but it is not the truth on a base that we and some other people believe that, those things should not even happen in the first place. That if that feeling is coming up, you have the power to suppress it and, follow normal human connections. That's just, in passing. My point is that you must first disassociate yourself from the religious cultural practices that are holding you down. And we are talking about the secular space here, so nobody's preaching to anybody. I'm just trying to make a point. that to be able to effectively participate in the Caesar's world, which is this world where we find ourselves, we would not detach ourselves from religion or empty our minds of religion. That's not what I'm saying. By religion, I mean the true practice of your beliefs. True practice, the true practice of your belief. And nobody's going to like detach himself from that because you are a product of your beliefs and your values and whatnot. What I'm really saying is that you must now detach yourself from rules and regulation that are very subjugative, because all religion believe that God loves everybody equally. And so if God loves you equally and he has made man and put him in this planet, most religions, they believe in this fact, that if he has put you here, I'm sure he has given you some like inherent skills, inherent rules, that if you believe in God, God doesn't need to necessarily come and help you execute those things for them to happen. So there are things that religion has taught you that you probably need to pray about, that things that you can do without necessarily praying. Prayer only helps you intensify and gives you wisdom if you believe in prayer. But if you don't believe in prayer, there are things you can do that are very, very human ability oriented. Then prayer doesn't necessarily do it. Prayer just helps you, put you in the right, frame of mind and all of these things to do it. So because right now the world is being ruled in terms of finance by people who are very secular. Those, and you don't have to be religious to be like wealthy. You don't have to be religious like to put yourself out there and really garner and gather the attention of the world, because where attention follows, value and money always goes there. So my whole background is to tell you that you need to break yourself off from those things that tend to isolate you and keep you in hiding. The whole essence of man secularly is to interact with other men. Men need to like really interact with other men. Men, human beings naturally are social beings. All of us here, we are like social beings. And to be able to like effectively participate in the Caesar's world, we must do the things that not everyone else is doing, that we in our uniqueness, we do the things that are maybe prescribed, or there are pathways like gaining attention and selling our gifts, making our visions even more known to the world, and contributing our opinions to the global area of interaction. So crucial. So one of the things you must first agree with yourself is that you are important enough to contribute to the world. This is like so crucial. It's so bizarre that lots of people do not know how important they are. Because of our some of us are our upbringing, where we grew up from, there's a lot of blocks that are holding us back in terms of identifying the importance that we can contribute to our society and even the world generally. Quite recently, I was coaching a 76 years old client. This client is from Canada. I'm going to withhold the names, because the names are not important for us here. This client is from Canada, and when I was, coaching her, because I do marketing and sales, so people who don't know me, I now realize that wait, these guys are not special. Even though I knew this from before, but it just dawned on me again that wait, these guys are not special. They are as human as we are. And even though she's 76 years old, I am a coach. And I'm coaching her. I probably will share some clips with you guys on what I do and all that, maybe later on in our sessions. But she listens to me. There are things she doesn't even know. And I'm bold enough to say I can coach her, and she pays me for that coaching. And like, and she's happy to pay because she feels that in that realm of knowledge, I'm way better than her. So first, you must identify that you are important, and you must now start to break from that childhood trauma that told you that you were not enough, and that black people, are not, are not supposed to be in global opinions. They're not supposed to give their opinions, and you must now detach yourself from the struggle mentality that all you are made to do here on earth is to go to school, get a job, make money, marry, or do whatever you want to do and die. No, you must now first understand that you matter, and so that every level you are in your life, the world can still benefit from your knowledge. And that's why I advise everyone to have a YouTube channel. And you don't have to be an extrovert. You have a YouTube channel or Facebook or TikTok or whatever platform you want to start with, and begin to feed the global space your opinion. Sometimes I watch like social media, and it breaks my heart. Why I say it breaks my heart is because I see a lot of people who are like the opinion leaders, and when I just oppose them to some of you, to my friends, to myself, I'm like, wait, this person is not necessarily better than you. Like, I can probably speak more than this person. I can probably sing more than this person. I could probably act more than this person. I could, there's a lot of things I could do more than the person. But why those people are trending, making money online, they are brand ambassadors, is because they've detached themselves from this clock, this cultural beliefs, and psychological beliefs that they're important, and they don't have to know it all. They don't have to be masters of their craft for them to build that pathway where they can show themselves. You know, over 5 years ago when I started online, I was just a kid who was just looking to make money off online. And I was like, what? I'm just gonna launch. And I woke up one day and like, why am I holding myself back? I don't know anything about marketing, online marketing. I didn't know about anything about selling to coaches and online. I didn't know nothing about that. But you know what? The thing that I know that I can do is that I'm gonna launch. And so I just posted on, April, I think it was 2003 or so. I can't even remember. 2002 or 2001, I can't remember, guys. But I posted and told people, hey, I'm in business. And that one step has grown me from that level to this level because I just did it. And someone will go down and look at my videos and say, oh, I like your video. And my videos are not clear. You can see, like, they're not clear. I want to be professional. I want to have cameras. I want to have good lighting. But this is, this is not probably the best I can give because I'm a little bit lazy too. But I can do this. I can speak to you. That's one of, an example of, putting yourself out there. I can speak to you. I believe that I have some things that you might need, and that's why I'm here. So one key thing that you must take out from today's, putting yourself out there and all of those things and be seen, heard, and to garner value is the fact that you are important, very important. And one litmus test you can test whether people really understand that they're important is by the actions they take. I don't always believe what people tell me. I love you, Mr. Otache. You're good. You're my coach. I'm gonna come to Kaduna and I'm gonna pay you $1,000 and learn from you. I'm always interested in the money, to be honest, because money finishes. Like, I've seen money fly. When the Bible says that money has wings, it's true. It flies. But the actions of people really determine whether they love themselves. One of the ways that someone doesn't love themselves is that they are shy to publicize their opinion. They just want to be behind the scene. And to be honest, if you truly want to change the trajectory of your life, you must change from being just a spectator to participant. That's why football fans don't get paid. But the participators who are footballers, active footballers, they get paid. Because you cannot play the game of life by just being spectators. Like, it won't work. You must get into the dirt, get your hands dirty. When I mean get dirty, walk. If it's like walking in the mud. You cannot know the experience until you jump into the mud and start to walk. Do you understand? You're important, but you must not be spectators. You must be participators. Very crucial. If you live your whole life being a spectator, you're going to live like a very mediocre life. We must admit that you don't know everything. And that's why I'm going to be talking about, learning, knowledge. Crucial. You don't know everything, but you are as important as everyone else. Like, you're important. Shoma is important. Kingdom is important. And I'm not just saying this because they are words of affirmation. I'm saying this because they are obviously true. Let me give you like a true story. Yeah. I recently started my masters, because ever since I started to work online, I have time on my hands. Just woke up one day and say, wait, I've got time on my hands. Why not just go to masters? Because they fed you a lot of things that schooling in Nigeria. Why should you school in Nigeria? Why Nigerian lecturers don't know anything, so just go abroad. I'm like, no, no, no. I'm not. I don't think I'm ready to go like relocate abroad yet. I have offers to go abroad, but I don't feel like it's time yet. So I said, okay, fine, go to Nigerian university and start a master's. So I started my master's recently, and I discovered that whoa, there's a lot of knowledge gap that we need to fill. You don't know everything, and the best way to be able to know things is to get into the action. Today I was in class. Like I had the class. You can see my eyes looking a little bit dim because I had classes from 8 a.m. till like 6 p.m. So that's why it, it, it doesn't break my heart that lots of people are not here. But I mean, I'm happy that we have quite some few people who are joining us. But like I was in class, and one of the very interesting moments of class today was like most of my mates are like top military officials, government parastatal officials, and whatnot. And like I saw how I was able to navigate very sound arguments because it's a master's class, so we share opinions and all of those things. I was able to navigate a very sound scholarly argument that people look at me and say, yeah, what you just said is true. And I'm talking about people who have some of them have multiple masters, work with the UN, and they're like, yeah, what you just said is true. I'm like, whoa, really? So you know things. You know a lot of things. By nature, we are people who are built by experience. All of us are experiential beings. We know a lot of things. You don't know that you know these things until you put yourself in avenues that would make you demonstrate how well you know things. And understand this, regardless of how bad life has treated you, you are not a victim. Most people come and say, okay, yeah, we just want to use tell us about how to like do this in online. Unless you get all of these things right, you will start and you'll not be consistent. Because I started it myself. Because one day you're wanting to go online and a voice in your head is telling you, what are you gonna see? Like waiting you want so people will never know. And like, okay, I beg this stuff before you know there's gaps of inconsistency, and before you know you relapse and boom, you're out. You're not consistent in putting yourself out there. But when you understand, because I've seen people who are so confident about their abilities, they put rubbish online, but people still follow them. Have you realized that if you go to if you go to some people's page, some celebrities' page, and you look at the video and like, this doesn't even make sense. Why you or some skit makers like this is not even funny. But when you go to the comment section, you're gonna see people in the comment section saying, "No more like this thing funny die." I'm like, really? This is funny. It's because at every level you dispense knowledge, you dispense your opinion. There's somebody out there who needs it. That's the importance of putting yourself out there. There's always a group of people who would always buy your idea, even if they are foolish ideas. Right now, if you go online and type, see, I don't want Peter Obi or Tinubu to be president. For example, I want a university graduate who just graduated, who is fresh and hot and young, to come and be president of Nigeria. Some people are going to say, yes, we agree with you. Other people are going to insult you. But there's somebody who's going to say, it's true. Because you know what? People have submitted their sense of reasoning to the people they follow. And that's why you cannot always only be a follower. You must always also lead in your own sphere of influence. Because a large chunk of the population have submitted their thought process, their way of thinking, their reasoning faculty to other people. And so, even you, in lots of things, once your pastor says this, you just believe them. Everything your pastor says, you believe them. And it's not necessarily supposed to be so. The roles your pastor play in your life are spiritual leaders. They are guides. They're like your parents when you're learning to walk. If parents tell the child that you cannot walk, it probably won't work because the child will one day, struggle starts because it's a natural biological, inherent, fixation in the child that, they're just going to try and, anything they see, they're going to put it in their mouth. The role of the parent is to guide and say, no, that's not food. You can't put it in your mouth. That's fire. You can't put your hands there. So that the child growing up will have his own, way of reasoning. And this is attached to like imams and teachers, celebrities. Most people have submitted their faculty of thinking to celebrities than they have to even their religious beliefs. But let's not even go there. What I'm trying to say is that you must learn to reason for yourself. And when you need to rely on other people's opinion, they should be verifiable and you shouldn't follow blindly. It's crucial. And I just wanted to get that point down because even people here, right on this call, most of you have submitted your sense of reasoning to like other people. And so there's no way you can live life when you cannot reason. For example, there's this guy called Very Dark Man. Listening to him, you might like him if you're like a very moral person, all of those things. You might like what he does, and some people might not like what he does. But at the center of it, Very Dark Man is not necessarily the most intelligent man on Nigeria. He's not even the most spiritual man, whether as a Christian or a Muslim or anything. But you see that because that young man has, put himself out there, he has some people would take 10 million and say, see, I just want to dash you this money. Other people will say, you know what, Very Dark Man is my mentor. There's a Pella guy, people will say Pella is my mentor. There's just a lot of things circulating. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just trying to buttress the point that people will always submit their sense of reasoning to people who are leading them. And the online space, social media is one tool that you can literally use to change your life. Like you can change the trajectory of your life with social media. I met a guy, like a lady very recently, and she works for the government. She met me and like, okay, wait, how can I start earning online? Because what they are paying us in the government is like pennies. And I'm going to talk about like monetization parts and all of these things, but I'm just trying to like lay the foundations. First, you must agree that you're important. Secondly, you must learn to reason for yourself. Learn to reason for yourself. That way, you have an opinion. I used to live most of my life agreeing with whatever the person who is dominating in that room says. The person says, for example, Buhari didn't do anything in this Nigeria, I say yes. Buhari did something in Nigeria, I say yes. Like I now started to ask myself, no. I cannot submit my sense of reasoning to other people. I must take charge of my lives. Because at the tail of end of life, nobody really cares. I'm not saying that people don't care about you. Like people will die and leave you. People are going to live their lives. It's like when two of you, are shot. They shoot two of you like guns. The person is going to nurse his wound, and you're going to nurse yours. So why not learn to live life? Using your own thinking faculty. That's one way you could really, beat this game. Because you listen to I'm very talking about the secular people because those are people that all of us can relate to without, being biased. For example, I look at Speller, for example. He tries to emulate someone who cannot speak good English. He tries to be funny, he tries to be awkward, he tries to be naive, and oh my, he's a brand ambassador to lots of brands. He's getting money. I'm like, wait. Is there something we're missing here? It looks like we're missing something. What we're missing is that wherever attention goes, money follows. The person with the highest attention, he gets the money. Like he gets people, he gets money. And when you have people, you have money because money is in people's pockets. And so you must learn to be the person who, attracts the right attention to yourself. It's a game. The richest people are going to be people who can attract attention to themselves. The richest. And they don't have to be smart, the smartest people. They just have to know how to attract attention to themselves. And let me even go back and be a little bit religiously biased. I saw a lady who sings like she covers, sings covers of songs. She sings Lawrence Oil and all of those ladies. I saw her recently, and she just started. And you find lady like that. She started not quite long. And when I looked at her page, she's already at almost 40,000 followers. I'm like, what? And she's just covering people's songs. She sings with the guitar and covers people's songs, and people are following her. Very soon, I'm sure that they're really inviting her to come and speak on stages, minister and all of those things, because wherever attention follows, money will follow. People are there. Attention is people. Very important. And in psychology, psychology is a study of the human and their mind, how people think, what makes people do what they do. People just will give attention to necessarily everything you put out there. First, one of the things you must do is, I said, realize that you are important. We're going to talk about this, childhood healing and background thing in one of our class, because there's a lot of things you need to heal from. People have told you very terrible things about yourself that you are still struggling to navigate through life because of all those things. And even when you want to hit, you've just had the momentum from this class and you want to start posting. 3 days after, you've given up. You understand? You return to your old self, and people think you're not serious. The truth is that you are not serious. The problem is that your mind has been clogged. You've been told things. It's like someone carrying a black cloth and tying on your head. That is it. You are serious. You want mobility. You want to hit. You want to blow. But only someone who can see can really, navigate. And so you're just like a blind man, groping. You're groping. You're not making, any movement. You're not making any mobility. So we need to take that clock off you. And some of the clock, you can actually take it off by yourself. First, you need to know that you're important and that you have something to offer. We're going to talk about consistency. One of the greatest problems of the young people that I've noticed is inconsistency of learning. Like the average young person never finishes what they start. They pick a book, they drop it. They do that. You pick forest, you pick this thing, you pick video editing, you pick, like, are you kidding me? Like, first, you need to be sensible enough to know what you are picking so that you don't waste your time and realize that, say, I picked the wrong thing. And you need to be sensible enough. That's where mentorship and coaching comes. And every time, I talk about mentorship and coaching, be like, oh, okay, I'm going to pay this one money. I'm going to pay these people money. If you've not learned to put your money where your mouth is, forget about it. Just go and sleep. And to be honest, I believe that not everybody is to be a leader. Not everybody has to put their opinion out. But I believe the reason why you're here is because you are those sets of people who feel that they are the chosen people, the people who can shape the trajectory of the next generation to come. And that's why you're here. Not everyone is there. We have over 200 people in the group, and just a few of you showed up. So it means that you are those people, and you must start to behave like those people. You know enough. The average Nigerian starts school when they're like 2-3 years old. Some of them will start school at 1 year old. So you've been schooling all your life. Some of you are still in school. So it means you know a lot. There's a lot you can offer to the world. A lot. In fact, by the virtue of being a Nigerian, there's a lot of street credibility, street wisdom that you've learned that the white folks, the people abroad, would love to. Some of the things that I teach people are just street cred and street, being streetwise and all of those things. Some of it are not like, I don't have like a book for it, but when I read books, I say, oh, this was what I know. By the virtue of being Nigerian, you just learn things. That's why Nigerians are one of the smartest people in the world. Nigerians, Jews, all of those categorization puts us in one of the most smartest people in the world. By the virtue of being Nigerian, you're already wise. You're already good to go. You don't need anything else to set you up in life. The more things you get, the more of a high performer you become. So you've got to learn to be consistent in your learning. Very consistent. And also consistent in your execution. Like I said, you can't start Forex today. And tomorrow they say, hey, there's money in affiliate marketing. You're jumping there. And they say, oh, there's Amazon KDB. You are there. And no, your life is going to be scattered. And remember, you don't have eternity here on earth. You have very limited time. Today I opened the scholarship application and I checked. The age limit is 25 years old. I'm like, whoa, looks like guys are already growing old. Like, this world is going to give you very little time to absorb like what you can absorb. There's going to be a time when, because of time, like because of how you've wasted time, the world is going to exclude you from some opportunities because you didn't grab them early enough. Do you understand? There's a time where you might say, okay, let me take this streaming thing live or serious. Let me start putting myself. And people are going to say, okay, who is this old man? Like, people are just going to say, okay, what are you doing here? Because you cannot be full of 40. Like, people are going to be looking at you and say, I beg, who be this? And it's probably going to take you a longer time to get results than starting now. There's a higher order. Like, if you start a YouTube channel today or tomorrow, there's a higher order you might be monetized in the next 365 days. And if you're lucky enough, you might be monetized in 3 months, 6 months. And you don't know what YouTube monetization is. It's like blood money. Monetization on Facebook is even crazy, like blood money. And I'm not saying you should necessarily do it for the money. The money is very crucial. But I'm saying that you can do it for the influence and still make the money. If you can sing, post on Facebook every day, do covers, find songs. You can go online and check you can go on YouTube Music and see the songs that are trending in Nigeria, like the top trending songs, and you can do a cover of the songs. Some of you learn how to play the guitar. Imagine if you have a very sweet voice like mine and you can play guitar, like boom, in the next 3-6 months, people are going to be followers. You're going to get, if it's administration you're looking for, you get it. Or if you are a poet, or let's say you're a writer. There are lots of, I know an organization who was looking for like a volunteer to volunteer with them. Over time, they're going to start paying the volunteer to write for them. If you're a community manager, if there's anything you want to do, like anything you want to do, you've got to put yourself out there. And you're not coming to this class to learn how to put yourself out there. Just do it. One of the things that I see that is really effective is that the only way to get wet in the pool is to dip your leg first in the pool. There's no any other way to learn how to swim but to dip yourself in the pool. I've seen swimmers, first time swimmers, wanting to learn how to swim. But the first lesson they teach them is just to get familiar with the water. Just touch the water. Just fetch the water and pour it on their body. Just the water. And that's what I'm going to tell you today. Just start. Like, hey, I'm confused. I don't know what to say. See, go online and say any rubbish. Or read a book and try to review the book online. Just do anything. And eventually you're going to find your flow. And like, yeah, but I don't know what niche to focus on. That's not your problem now. I don't know what songs to see. That's not your problem. Your problem is just start. When I started to sell online, I didn't even know who I was selling to. In fact, I didn't know that at that time there was anything like online marketing, digital marketing. I didn't even if I knew, I didn't know how it worked. But I just said I'm in digital marketing. I just started. And eventually I found my flow. I found that okay, I want to just sell to coaches like exclusively. And I found my niche. And I'm getting better, like improving. Now I say I want to become a coach. I'm doing this. I'm also like investing. I'm doing this and that. But you're going to find your flow only if you start. Some people are going to say, oh yeah, I want to start. I have an idea, but my phone is dark. If I showed you the laptop I had before now, and my laptop, the webcam wasn't even working. So I was using my phone. My phone is an Android phone. It was very slow. It was crazy. I started to work online for a US-based client. I met her because I started. And then I found a Canadian client. And the Canadian client, every time he say, let's do video call, I say, oh, I don't have webcam on my system. The guy just vexed one day and say, wait, how much is this laptop set that has webcam? I said, how many dollars? I told him, this guy sent me $1,000. $1K. And $1K then was like 700K, 800K, I can't remember. And I bought a laptop of like 600K. That then I was broke, boy. 600K laptop. It came because I started. You don't have to have everything in check. Some of you are looking at, okay, I want to learn video editing. Just put your camera and do something. Eventually, you're going to learn. The best way to start to learn how to swim is to just, interact with the water. Nobody's saying you should jump in the middle of the pool, which is deeper. All we're just saying is just put yourself out there. If you put yourself out there, the wisdom to find your niche, the wisdom to find a specific place to become active in will come. I cannot tell you every of my money that I've made in the last 4 years. At least 99.9% came online. So it means I can work from the comfort of my home, like I'm doing now, and someone else in Canada sees that what I'm doing is beneficial to him, and he says, John or Otache or Emmanuel or whatever you guys call me, come, I want to pay you so you can help me do what you're doing. Simple. Someone feels that I'm valuable enough for them to exchange their hard-earned money. Remember, money is not plucked on trees, even in the US. People will work for their money. And for someone to feel like I deserve the money and they don't deserve it, they want my value, it's something, that is bizarre. I don't have to go loan mourn their loan or do anything. I just have to, give them my value. And see, guys, there are lots of things that I need to still learn that I have not learned yet, that I want to learn. But what you currently have is enough to start. You don't have to beat yourself out there and say, okay, because me, I was a stutterer. I still stammer. Like stammer. When I mean stammer, like my stammering was really stammering. So it wasn't like I had a very good background. I was in my hostel room, and boys hostel. There's nowhere as noisy as boys hostel. You say girls are noisy. You've not seen guys in boys hostel. They are noisy as hell. Do you know when Yoruba guys argue and they are banging their doors? And I lived in a hostel, and I had to do all these kind of calls online. When my clients complain, I say, "Talk, I did hostel. How I go do?" Is my curtain was tied with. There's this stuff they used to tie yam. My curtain was tied, and it was evidence that I tied my curtain to those stuff in the hostel. And my house where there's 10 minutes, and she paid me money. And house where there's 10 minutes, and she paid me money. I learned streets, how to be streetwise, and I applied it to my business. And people just say you're from Nigeria. Why should we work with you? I just learned in Nigerian slang and and people just say you're from Nigeria. Why should we work with you? I just learned in Nigerian slang and I tell them you motivated. It's to get you to understand that you don't have to have everything figured out. Motivated. It's to get you to understand that you don't have to have everything figured out. The other stuff, people, there's a lot I need to learn. So if you have one, and it's still in this kind of people in the world just the way, and it's still in this kind of people in the world just the way you want to. If I wait for a miracle, but you've got to put it and begin to have it, but you're just waiting for somebody's absolute wrong way to live life. And I'm sure very few people will take advantage of the idea that is new. It's just the execution. Guy, this guy is a smart guy. I wish I was him in their mind. It's like register your NGO, apply for grants. Do you know all of those things? Maybe not. Some of you are like very interested in tech and you want to be tech guys. You know, responsible for people who are on journey. I've seen people who had and look like to monetize, but just short time we've made like millions. And then what we saw was that our page was monetized by Facebook. In less than 3 months, we had those who are going to buy will buy. And as you grow, like I said, do not put your what we saw was that our page was monetized by Facebook. In less than 3 months, we eyes on the price. Just put your eyes, on the next step. Because sometimes when the price is not forthcoming, you can give up. The price for most people is money. Your motivation should not just be money. It should be that you want to be a participator. And when you just want to be a participator, like maybe in the tech space, you review like a keyboard like this, a mouse like this, you review your keyboard. And all you just want to do, start from reviewing small things. Eventually, you're going to start reaching to brands and say, okay, fine, I want to help you review this. I might buy it with my own money. And eventually, you're just going to be a tech reviewer and people are going to pay you, dash you product to review for them. But it's not going to happen until you start. Our whole class, the whole essence of this mentorship is not to give you dodge confidence. Dodge confidence is getting like when you take alcohol and do crazy things. It's to really propel you to the next level. It's to tell you that you are enough, that you can dare anything that you want to dare in life and you can make it. And I'm not just coming to teach you get rich quick scheme. If you've seen my classes very often, I'm not just coming to say, okay, make 10,000. I have classes for that, but those like independent classes for people who are like at the next level of their executions. I'm not looking for people who they are bent on now money we want to make. I just want blue. No, that's not my target audience. My target audience are people who are looking to become high performers. Because if you're a high performer, you've solved the problem of getting money. Because you just know how to create money. Sometimes when I need money, like for example, I need like 500k or 800k or like 1 million or something like that, I can just look at myself and say, okay, what offer can I create from within myself? And I can say, okay, this is, I can create an offer and I reach out to people and then they say, okay, fine, but we're going to buy for $500 or $1,000 and I make that money. So I know how to like make offers because I am now becoming a high performer. And becoming a high performer is not something like, okay, like a monk or something. It's just something about daring to, engage and participate in life as someone who's got it. Because you already got it. As a Nigerian, you've got it, regardless of where you're coming from. If you're going to take anything out from this class, just know this. First, you're not a victim, that you are important. Secondly, the inconsistency of learning must stop. You must be consistent at learning and execution. And thirdly, just put yourself out there, dare to do. Is it Nike? Nike will say, well, just do it. Like, the only thing you need to do is just, you understand? I'm using myself as an example because I'm the standard. I'm just telling you that I am your brother in struggle. Like, life is not the best it can be, but life is headed somewhere. Because it's crazy in Nigeria. Like, people are broke, and you don't want to be part of the problem. You don't want to be playing victim. You're not a victim. The victim game where, government are this. Government is always going to be government. Even in the US, we have people who are homeless, who are always blaming the government. So governments have been blamed every single place in the world. But you need to take your life in your hands. Take charge of your lives. And it's almost 9:30, guys. So if you have any questions, please ask me questions. Ask me questions. And lastly, please improve your network. Improve your network. The questions are not going to be asked here. I'm sorry. You can put them in the WhatsApp group. We have a WhatsApp group, and you can ask questions so that other people can benefit from my answer or from the answer of my team. Like networking, even for my team, not my team per se, like my friends who are like part of behind the scene, like it has really improved their life, the quality of their life. Like like in some ways, like how much they earn, what they do, their vision, just by networking, probably with me or people like I know. Because you just get a job and say, okay, probably you were a student and you're not in anything, and you just come to a space where someone's okay, fine, we can have a job for you for like 100k or 200k or 300k or something like that based on your abilities and your hunger to make more money. So all of these high performance habits would really change the trajectory of your life. So please, right now, just go. Oops. Right now, go to the WhatsApp group. Go to the WhatsApp group, and if you have any question, please put it there. I want all of you, at least one, all of you to ask me questions. Ask me questions or just add something. Go to the WhatsApp group, ask a question, or tell me something you've learned from today's class and something you will start doing. Let us now hold you accountable. Let us be your accountability partners, because that's what we are going to be doing here. So if you are committing to putting like videos, or you're committing to joining like groups, or committing to sending scholarship applications or something, put it in the group so that other people can see and make commitments. So the tag should be, I commit to do this in the next every day for the next 30 days. And please, guys, keep me accountable. So I commit, for example, myself, I commit to, look out for podcast guests and to do podcasts in the next 30 days. Guys, put me accountable. We're going to start with David. He's behind the scene. He's going to tell us what he's committing to do in the comment section, and let everybody follow suit. I see Daniel. I see Gloria. I see a bunch of people. So I want us to start to commit. So thank you very much, guys. The people that made it, I think we have like almost 10 people or something like that. I can see everybody. Yeah. So like everyone who's connected, please, guys, you can change your life. Like me, I came from, I won't say nothing, but I came from a very humble background. My dad is not alive. I saw my dad died. I saw how life can be very fragile. And I'm like, no, no, no. I can't continue living like this. I've got to make the best out of my life. My life is not the best now, but like I think I'm headed somewhere already. Like I think I'm making a lot of progress. And yeah, I want you to make progress. So thank you so much. Please go to the group, post something that you want to commit to doing in the next 30 days, and we're all going to encourage ourselves. And there's Kenneth. I see Kenneth somewhere. Please, Kenneth, reach out to me. We need to talk. And guys, thank you so much for today. Have an incredible night. I'm going to see you guys next month. And we're bringing somebody who's going to really teach you how to start business and register it, get grants next month. My very good friend. He's so good at this. I'm going to be bringing you guys, for people who are thinking of starting businesses. He's going to teach you a lot of things, and we're going to go to the next level. So cheers, guys. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Bye bye. Please end the meeting.